All right, YouTube, welcome back to another quick episode. I guess the only one we've ever done where we just decided to text each other and say, hey, we got to go do a recap on the games while it's fresh in our minds. We're only going to do one, and we're going to make it worthwhile.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, so here we go. We're going to get into it in 3, 2, 1. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with are the Masters in the teen division. I was up there all week. Ben and I were up there coaching our two athletes who did awesome all week. It was a long week. I'm not going to lie. It was Sunday mid-afternoon-ish, and we were supposed to check in on Saturday all the way through Thursday night. It was great. We had a good time. But some takeaways that I had while being there is I think the Masters have been put a little bit too much to the side. Yeah. I really believe that, and I'm going to get into it a little bit later. I think it's been a great thing to have, and I don't want it to get taken away. I want it to stay, and that's why I'm going over it, because I feel like it's just getting pushed a little bit more and more each year to the side. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I felt like.
And your input to what you said was, I mean, there was like nobody there during the week. Like the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it was like, you know, the husband maybe kind of hanging out and that was it.
Well, and how can you expect people to take off 3 days during the week and then go up?
Right.
And so I don't know how they need to figure it out. I'm going to kind of get into that later, of course. But the Masters competition, I think truly was the most competitive I've ever seen it. And we've been there plenty of times watching it.
Right.
And I enjoyed watching it. So I think, I mean, look at the 35-year-old men. You had Adrian Conway, Kyle Kasperbauer,
James Hobart.
Yeah, Nick Block. Yeah. I mean, you had these dudes
Big
who
names.
are just massive names who want to keep the sport rolling, and it was awesome to see. Same with the women. You know, Rachel's division, Julia's division was phenomenal.
Yeah.
These are people who have been in the sport so long. I want to see that keep growing. So my biggest takeaway for the Masters was let's stop pushing it to the side and maybe bring it to the forefront a little bit more.
Cool. I like that. Switching over to the teams division, it happened. We knew it was going to happen. Mayhem dominated everyone. They won 8 of 13 events. They took second in the couple other ones. They took third. I think they took sixth once.
Fourth or sixth,
I mean, it was a Mayhem show. No one else was even close. Second place. I don't even know anyone on the team. I mean, it was, I mean, not even worth watching in my opinion because of how dominant it was.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean that's what you're going to have when you have one super team, like legitimate super team with 2 of the best girls ever and the fittest team athlete ever, and they have time to make their super team versus no one has time and everybody has to go individual. So you're essentially seeing a bunch of affiliate or area run teams versus one of the best made super teams of all time.
Yeah.
You're just not going to there's nothing there to, I mean, it was
too much of a mix between where the rules changed
when they changed.
And when they changed.
Because you didn't have time to make your actual team.
Exactly.
When one team had the time or figured it out, I guess, soon enough. Yeah, the team competition this year was a little bunk for me.
It's a joke.
Because that's my favorite thing to watch.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly. So hopefully he figures that out. And I think the biggest takeaway for me on the team competition, get out the rule book on time, dude. Get the rule book out on time. Oh my God! Stop. If the season starts on January 1, 3-4 months earlier, the rule book should be clear as day, and just let everybody go everywhere. Stop trying to make it to where you can't make a super team, can make a super team because the super teams are
last minute. Like you can't just get the rule books out there so that everyone has the availability to super team it up if they want to from the same affiliate, which is fine. But you got to get the rule book out there earlier.
And we just want to see a good competition now.
Right,
I couldn't care less who wins, but you win the first 6 or however many events in a row, and the game is already over.
That's it.
Because you've got you have the only super team out there. Had you have just been, and who knows how many individuals would have went over to teams had that have been the case, and they would have known that rule ahead of time. Because there were a lot of individual athletes who have been on teams.
Exactly.
I mean, a ton. Mm-hmm. So who knows? We just want to see that. I mean, it was just, I wasn't super happy with it.
Yeah.
But
it is what it is.
It is what it is. You're right. All right, next up. I guess you could make the prize purse a little bit bigger, and maybe that would get more.
Could, yeah. Well,
maybe
with the $10,000 per event payout, I mean that's
if you got the right shoes on.
Yeah, Mayhem about doubled their winnings actually from wearing the right shoes.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think about that,
absolutely. But no one knew about that until 2 days before, so it's kind of a mute point. For
Again,
what
rule books, get it out there. That'd be great.
Get your rule book out, CrossFit. It'll be a much smoother ride for everybody. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. We've got the men and women's competition, which was pretty badass.
It was.
If we roll back, I mean, we've got some pretty good guesses. I think you hit like 4 of the 6.
Yes, I did. Justin Medeiros, number 1. That was my pick. That was my boy. That was in Colin's top 3 as well. He had Patrick Vellner winning it, so that was number 2. He took second place. Absolutely awesome battle between them two. You know who we did not have though is Brent Fikowski.
Yeah, we mentioned him, but it wasn't.
Yep, but he was not in our top 3 pick.
Yep, you're right.
Should have picked him. The dude's always up there. BKG, you had BKG, so he was up at number 4. He took 4th place. I had Scott Panchek. I think he kind of fell off. I don't know if he had an injury or something like that.
Like a torn ACL, I think. Or no ACL, one of the two.
Something happened. But Saxon Panchek, his brother, ended up coming in 5th place. That's actually pretty cool. The kid's awesome. A young stud, clearly on the up and up. So that's pretty darn cool. And back to Justin Medeiros. I mean, the man was fighting all weekend. I mean, he just kind of slowly took off a little bit. He didn't really have any placings that were horrible.
No.
Was kind of his big thing, as opposed to Patrick Vellner. His first event every single year is always dog shit.
Terrible.
This
Come
dude
on,
took
Pat.
35th place.
You win the game
again.
Come on, dude.
Just take 10th. Like, work on your swimming or your running. Like, what? How come you cannot do better in the first event? I don't get it.
He's got to move from Canada. It's too cold.
Dude,
I don't know what it is, but you're killing me, Pat. You're killing me.
Either way, phenomenal guys' side of the event the entire year. There was a bunch of names that really didn't hear of. The guy from Brazil, that kid from Brazil that moved up. I mean, this dude, I think he won like 3 events.
Dude,
that firepower is unbelievable. He is freaking strong. It's badass.
Anybody? I guess I'll ask you off the cuff since it all is here. Anybody that surprised you, good or bad, placing wise, for the men?
Yeah, I would say Noah Olson. Yep, Noah Olson.
He just can't figure it out.
He's the man that cannot figure it out, which again, not the biggest Noah Olson fan anyways. We talked about that last time. He took 10th place this year. I don't know if he's posting too many videos of him dancing on Instagram with his dog or something fucking stupid, but the dude just doesn't have it clearly. Yeah. He's on the downhill.
I don't know. He can't figure it out. Well, one that I'll mention that I think we both mentioned before is Chandler Smith.
Yeah.
He just didn't look right.
No, took 21st, I think.
Well, and it was WODs that I thought he'd do really well at. He's getting beat on running workouts and like grit type of stuff. I mean, he's not doing well enough.
I think he got too big. I feel like too big.
Really?
I don't know. The dude looks bigger than I've ever seen him in my entire life.
He needs to be a model.
Yeah.
He should be. You just quit and go be a model because you'll make millions, bro.
He could be for sure. Anything that you want to mention about the men event there?
I do want to mention our boy Colton Mertens. He took a rough one. With him too, he has so much firepower, but he's so small that he needs to be able to figure out how to get okay in the taller events and win the smaller ones.
Right.
And he just wasn't able to do that this weekend. And I talked to him this weekend up there. He has 0 excuses. He has the best mindset I have ever seen out of any athlete ever. I mean, truly, his mindset's phenomenal. I mean, his coach is also like borderline insane.
Scary.
So, like, no one fucks with this dude. So it makes sense, but that's definitely a guy that I think deserves a shout out because I think he will be back, and I'm hoping he can overcome some of those smaller aspects, but we'll see.
Cool, love it. On to the women now. Of course, we knew who was going to win this one. Same thing as Mayhem. Tia-Clair Toomey. Holy shit, she dominated everything. She took 9 first-place events. She set now the record for the
Holy fucking wasp is that? That's the biggest wasp ever. Oh! Smacked it. Smack that mother. Where'd it go?
It's up by the window.
No, it's not. I smacked it over there.
No, it went and flew into the window.
We'll go kill it. I smacked the shit out of that.
Dude, I'm not going over there. Fuck that.
What? Where is it? I smacked it this way.
It went into the window and then it fell down in between the window and the thing.
Shit. Where is it? I don't play with walls.
Stop. You see it?
No, motherfucker.
I think it's dead in there.
It's dead?
Move that thing. Yeah, poke up that whole thing. Just pick it up.
Oh, it's alive. It's alive and well. I smacked it though. I stung that motherfucker. Ah, shit. Shit.
Kill it.
Oh, it's hurt.
Kill it. Stop. Stop on it. And it's dead. All right.
Ooh.
Well, now I'm fucking sweaty.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Dude, that's the biggest wasp I've ever seen.
That wasp
Whoa.
was the size of Chandler Smith.
That's the Chandler wasp. Wow.
Oh my god, I am sweaty. Whew. That gets your heart bumping.
I hurt my Achilles.
I don't even know what I was saying.
Fast. Women, Tia Claire Toomey.
Tia Claire Toomey dominates once again. So she has now set the record. She's passed Matt Frazier for the most first place finishes. I think she hit like 31 or something like that.
Awesome.
That's ridiculously awesome. She is clearly better than everyone else at this sport. That is hands down. But I do want to say Laura Horvath was my number 2 pick, and she took second place.
She did.
So that's badass.
Who was 3 for you?
Third was Christy Aramo.
Oh, yeah,
no, I was
Christy
Christy Aramo, and she ended up taking 8th place overall. So that's pretty awesome. She's in top 10. The number who took 3rd place this year absolutely blew my mind. I would never pick Annie Thor's daughter after having a kid a year ago to take 3rd place at the CrossFit Games. But I think I saw something that was actually really freaking cool about her. She basically said, you know, after she had the kid, she didn't really like how she looked. She was getting fat, and she was like, this isn't me. This is not what I'm used to. I'm used to just having like this awesome body that I've used for my years to basically run my business of looking good and stuff like that. And so she just started training as hard as she could. It wasn't hard at first, but she started training as hard as she could. And the next thing she knew, she was like, oh, maybe I can try going to the games again this year. And she took freaking 3rd place at the games.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable.
By far
mind-blowing.
the most surprising podium finish that I have ever seen ever at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I think you can
unbelievable.
If you watch the snatch event, I think she was as surprised that she was in the position as opposed to anyone else. It was awesome. I mean, she caught that 200-pound snatch and was like, oh, wow. Yeah. I'm actually still good as fuck.
I'm still strong. Wow, okay. I tell you what, to kind of rewind a little bit to your point about Tia Claire Toomey, that is exactly what happens when you have the most genetically gifted, hardest working person, and it all just comes together for the right sport. What is she? An Olympic lifter, a swimmer, a track star athlete, a former type of gymnast. I don't know, but it's phenomenal what she can do. I kind of wish Matt Frazier would keep going and they would just keep winning titles.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so good.
It made me miss Matt Frazier being like, oh, like, these people don't even need help anymore.
Yeah.
They're just like, let them go and they do their thing.
That's insane.
One of the things I do want to mention about the girls, Cara Saunders coming in with COVID and still showing up and trying to do it, happened, and she tried to compete at the games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
What?
That just mentally she tried to beat this threshold of like her body saying no. I mean, you just got your ass kicked by COVID, and she still tried anyways, which is, I mean, astonishing. Yeah. But clearly, she had to withdraw because she just could not do it. She couldn't compete up.
Makes total sense. Well, and then you had the 2 girls who obviously popped for COVID, Bethany and Carrie Pierce, which kind of sucks.
Yep.
Because they both were really, really good last year, and then you have the injury to Brooke Wells.
Yep. That was disgusting.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
They were on it right away, and oh god. So that you never ever want to see that in any competition ever.
Yeah.
So that was too bad. She was doing well. I think she was sitting in the top 10, maybe 8th or 9th place. And she had a good event coming up, which would have been the snatch. But
that's unfortunate.
That
sucks. And that's sports, though.
That's sports. 100%. That's sports. You're putting it out there. That's exactly what happened.
One other person we got to talk about is Danielle Brandon. So this girl's training partner is one of the people that popped for COVID, right? And so when she got to the CrossFit Games, they basically said, okay, you have to get tested like every other second that
before
you're here
they go out. The doctor told us with the Masters, before they even went out on the floor, she had to get tested for every event.
Every event she's getting tested before. Then she finishes the events, and then everyone else leaves the field. She has to put a mask on and sit there while everyone else leaves, and then she goes and isolates by herself at the games. That blows. And I tell you what,
That
she
blows.
kicked ass too.
She
and in that event that she won, the handstand walk event or whatever it was, she finished and she gave the bird to everyone. It was awesome.
Oh my god, that's my new favorite.
Yes,
athlete.
dude,
No,
it was
she did
badass.
that. I didn't
Yes,
see
she
it.
flipped everyone off.
Yes.
That was cool. So got a shout out to her. That was badass.
That's awesome.
Haley Adams too. We talked about Haley Adams as being, just a young stud. I mean, she took 5th place.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
So good.
Good for her.
Her and Mallory O'Brien. It looks like they're Mallory O'Brien, Iowa girl. Let's go.
Let's
Hey,
go.
everyone work out
Go
at OC3. Let me know. Come on down. We'll throw together a little workout for you. Bring you and your coach down. She is a beast.
Yeah.
17 years old. How do you look like that?
I have no idea, but if
How
you
do you look like that?
if you saw her
Phenomenal.
what's it called? Her wall walks. If you saw her wall walks, they were touch and go wall walks to beat Tia. I mean, that was impressive. That girl is a stud. She can be good.
She could do 10 wall walks faster than I could ever do 10 handstand push-ups. And I ain't joking. I mean, they were like, it was like down on the wall, stuck on the wall, back down. I'm like, what the?
Pretty
Phenomenal.
impressive.
Yeah, dude, those two girls are going to be leading the charge, I think.
Yeah.
And, that's something to mention is the teen division going to be the ones that take over? I was watching the teens all week. They look unreal. There's this one guy that was a teen. He was a 14 to 15 guy. 14 to 15-year-old
Kid.
teen. Yeah, he's 15 years younger than me, and he is already bigger and stronger than me. And I'm like, what is going on?
Well, I think it showed with the kid from Brazil.
Medeiros, too?
Yep, and Medeiros, he was in the teens division. Yep. So really impressive.
If you start
stuff.
early, I mean, look at that. If you start early, the problem is it's very hard. All right, so we're back at it, fresh battery. So one thing about the teens that's going to be difficult, because I've even thought about this with my daughter a little bit, is, and obviously your son, is that how do you get them to be that dedicated that young? And not in a different sport, if it's softball, if it's obviously baseball, football, because you still want them to play those sports. They've got, simply put, they've got to choose it on their own. They've got to be the ones to be like, you know what, Dad, I want to go ham in the gym. Let's go. You own a gym. Let's open it up. Let's get stuff going. And I think that's the only way to get those teens that young, to keep them interested and to become a Medeiros, to become a Haley Adams, to become a Mallory O'Brien. The only way to do that is they've got to love what they're doing.
Sure, I agree 100%. Yeah, it's very impressive for them to want to take initiative to do something like that, though, and just be the best at everything, I guess, if you think about it fitness-wise. So that is
Seriously.
pretty cool. Okay, so one final thing. If you could change one thing about the CrossFit Games this year, or in general, I guess, what would it be? Question for you, Colin.
Wow, you're just going to come out with me like
Boom,
that right there?
right at you.
All right, well, if I could change one thing, realistically, I would say, and this is not a knock on the teams or the masters or the teens, I truly believe everything needs to happen on the weekend. Now, I think you can start the Masters on Thursday, end them on Saturday, or the teams, or whatever, but having the Masters and teens that early in the weekend, I know there may not be another logistical reason to get it done, and I'm going to get to that, but seeing no one there and then having all the vendors there early, probably weren't really making any money. Things were open when they shouldn't be. Then they say they are closed. The schedule wasn't out correctly. They were over an hour behind for our briefing. Then the adaptive division, you don't know what to do with them.
Right.
So I don't know what the answer is, but in my opinion, either the Masters and teens probably need to either go or they need to be shortened to somehow get it in on the weekend, or the teams need to go, because the teams really do take up so much space. I mean, 40 times four athletes right there with coaches and all that. That, in my opinion, is one big functionality change that I think needs to be worked out a little bit better, because I think just throwing these Masters athletes and these teens athletes and these adaptive athletes kind of in the big beginning of the week just to kind of get them out of the way, clearly that's why they do it.
Yeah, it's almost
I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm just saying I think it would be a better experience for everyone if they found a better way to do it, or maybe just cut the teams down to 10 teams. Everybody competes Thursday through Sunday, and you cut it down to 10 teams. You've got plenty of volunteers. You got plenty of things. I really believe that that's one big change that I think needs to happen. Is we need to make it more functional for everybody and everybody to come watch. Because half of my gym couldn't even go watch because it's on a Tuesday and Thursday. They didn't even know they were competing on Tuesday and Thursday until a couple weeks beforehand.
Right.
So you can't even make all those changes. You couldn't even get hotel rooms. I tried to get another hotel room because my wife and friends came up for one day. We couldn't even get an extra hotel room. We had to go to a different hotel.
It's a logistical disaster.
Yeah, so maybe, and I know it's going to be switching from Madison, but I think that needs to be figured out next year. Will it be? Probably not. But that's one thing that I think a major change needs to happen. All right, what about you? What do you think?
I've thought about this every single year that I have been to the CrossFit Games, and clearly every year that I have watched the CrossFit Games, and it is the coverage. The coverage is absolutely horrendous. If you ever talk to anyone that is not watching numero uno, whoever's in first place, it's a disaster. I mean, the kid from Brazil, they were blowing up Dave Castro's Facebook and
like
Instagram.
4 events or 3 events.
The dude is crushing it. He won 3 events, and they're not even showing him on TV.
You don't even know his name.
It's a disaster.
No idea.
Yeah, and so what they need to do, in my opinion, is they need to have a split screen majority of the time. They need to have one camera that literally shows the entire field of play, everyone going on at the exact same time, so the announcers can know who's in first, second, and third, and everyone can watch everyone at the same time. Then maybe on the other split or like a corner of it or something, then they show whoever's in first place. They show that person, hey, this person's really good, they're in first place, or even switching back and forth from whoever is in first place to first, second, and third. But at the same time, the people that are holding the cameras, that are like doing the legwork for it, they have no idea what the hell CrossFit is.
They don't know.
They just have no idea. So it's not really their fault, but at the same time, it's someone's fault that needs to like show everything so that we can all kind of observe what's going on here.
And I agree 100% because I think too is that, so we've been at this for 10 years at a level of this kind of, this height.
Right.
And it hasn't gotten any better.
No, it's not.
Like, why has it not improved?
I don't know.
I mean, I just don't understand why it couldn't improve. But I agree that coverage thing is definitely a problem. And I don't know. Maybe if they do shorten some things down, don't have to do the teams or don't have to do less of them. Maybe you cut the Masters in half. I don't know because I don't want to see less people at the games. But then again, something's got to happen to where you can highlight more people at once. Otherwise, you just get the spotty, kind of shitty coverage that if you're not in first place or you're not a well-known name or you're not above this amount on your Instagram followers or you don't have this big of a butt, you're not getting shown.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, I agree. That's 100%. That's a great answer. All right, guys. So that is going to be our knee-jerk reaction to the CrossFit Games. We watched as much as we could. I was up there for 5 days. Had a great time. I don't know what you guys all thought of it, but why don't you let us know in the comments. What did you guys think of the flow of it? Did you actually go to the games? Was there less spectators? Were there more spectators? Where do you think it's going to go from Madison? Because this is the year that it's up.
Right.
So we don't know where it's going to go from here. Where would you like to see it go? Would you like to see it back in California? That seems to be a pretty big a yes for a lot of people when I was up there. So what do you guys like to see? What did you think about the 2021 CrossFit Games? Why don't you leave it in the comments below? We'll get a chat going and see what you guys thought.
Boom. Catch you next time.